Hello, Catholic world. This is Catholicism Lost, episode 5. Episode 3, thought I was happy. Episode 5, we're mad. What happened is that the Pope, with one of his so-called close friends, decided that we're not going to proclaim a dogma or recognize that Mary is co-redemptrix and mediatrix of all graces. She's basically the new Eve. And if you think about it, Jesus is the new Adam. And basically what they have done, if you think about it, has made reparation. It's a type of reparation for the sins of men and what Adam and Eve did. Mary, by her fiat, the church fathers say Jesus through Mary. And from Genesis to the Apocalypse, all the church fathers agree, from way back when, during the age of the church fathers, well, I said from Genesis to Apocalypse means that Mary, if you read in Genesis from the very beginning, was mentioned. There's a big paragraph there. I forget which one it is that you can go and find. That she says that even before God created anything, she was already on his mind. Imagine that. I was talking about the Blessed Virgin Mary. So she's mentioned from, we're not getting in a debate here how much she's mentioned or how much she's not mentioned, because basically the New Testament is mostly about Jesus Christ and his ministry and the apostles and the beginning of the church. But what we're saying is that she's there with God from the beginning in Genesis to the end in the Apocalypse, in the Old and New Testament. All the church fathers agree that she is co-redemptrix and mediatrix. Jesus is the only Redeemer. It's not so hard. They're saying, oh, we don't want y'all to get all confused. Nobody's going to be confused. Trust me. We don't worship Mary. We don't go to Mass because of Mary. We go to Mass because of the sacraments, and especially because we get to receive our Lord Jesus Christ, body, blood, soul, and divinity in the Eucharist. That is the main reason for the church there. Mary cooperates with Jesus. She exalts Jesus. Jesus is Mary's masterpiece, basically. That is why she is above all the angels and all the saints put together. The devil knew that he was not ever going to be over God. But when he was shown the future, that Mary, that he would have to submit, he didn't like it, so he revolted. She is a pure creature, and he did not want a pure creature above him. She's pure and clean, full of grace. If you don't believe this stuff, you're a heretic, basically. If you don't believe what the church teaches, you don't believe in the dogmas, the doctrine of the church, you're a heretic. And you lose faith, hope, and charity. Don't care what anybody says. I guess we're a little disappointed in all this, but it's really no surprise. But it came about all of a sudden. I didn't even know anybody was even contemplating this mediatrix and co-redeemer. I never knew anybody was even contemplating or even going to talk about it. But anyway, what do we expect? Her life, basically being the mother of God and being full of grace and everything that she's done, she actually increases in virtue and grace. She's the mother of God. He is the mediator. He makes her mediatrix. He is the one dispensing the gifts, the graces, but they go through her to mankind because of her exalted position. And we should want that position and want to praise that position and not argue about it and saying, oh no, that's not true. Mary was just an incubator. like I've heard some heretics say to me before. An incubator. The priests are basically, when they give us the grace, you think about it, they're helping us save our souls through these sacraments. That makes them like co-redeemers in a way, in a certain way, but not like Mary. So we're not really talking about that. But I'm very disappointed in Leo the 14th very. I talked in episode 3 that I was hoping he was going to be like the Leo the 13th, but it looks like he's maybe going to be worse than Francis. I hope not, but anything's possible at this point. You know, when you think about it, and I was happy in episode 3 about Cardinal Burke, and we did have Mueller come down here and do the traditional Latin Mass in Our Lady of Fatima Church up in Pennsylvania, I believe it was. He spoke from the pulpit about tradition, Latin Mass, all this stuff about the church that nobody can change. Nobody has the right to change. And they're trying to do the right thing, and I understand that Ann Barnhart believes that this wasn't all that great of a deal. I've heard a couple other priests say that it wasn't all that great of a deal what Cardinal Burke did, because the Vatican itself has been desecrated, and we know the stories from Malachi Martin and Windswept House, a lot of things that he said in interviews that has happened in the Vatican, and then it really does need to be reconsecrated. It really must be. But these guys, these bishops and cardinals are not standing by. I don't know if they have the authority to do that, but they're doing something good out of what they're doing. So hopefully the Vatican will be reconsecrated at one day, because they have basically desecrated it with the idol of the Pachamama, with the idol of Buddha's been put on top of the tabernacle before. I don't understand why there's not more outrage by the Novus Ordos on this deal. All the queers that were allowed to be on sacred ground here last month, it's just, and even the biggest enemies of the church as far as religion goes, the Muslims, even if you can believe this, have a prayer room at the Vatican, if you can believe that. Talk about a Trojan horse. Think about that for a moment. Anyway, that's all for now, and I'll put up another episode 6 here, I believe, this Sunday.